Hello and welcome to another Fleet Ops audio commentary brought to you by ClintSat. We've got a rematch for you folks, or kind of a rematch between 23 Down, Dur and Dragonfire, and Old Time Pro, Shooty, and 03 Locked sitting in for Sergeant Cortez. The map they're playing on today is Destiny Board. This is a fun map. I really like it. Everybody is kind of in a ring around the middle, and decent number of expansions, but does give you some options for raiding and grouping together. So I'll go through and introduce each of the players now. We've got at the very top the Purple Borg, played by Shooty. Looks like he is optimized, doing basic startup, conduction matrix, etc. Then we have the Green Romulans, played by Old Time Pro. Looks like he's setting up Research Institute, so I expect to see some Lavals out pretty early. Is going for Tritanium mining first, which is not a bad move if you're going to try to get those Tritanium heavy Lavals out. And their final partner here is the Blue Federation, played by 03 Locked. Pretty good player, fairly new, but doing okay. Basic startup, Federation's engineering and mining. Their opponents, down on the bottom, we've got the Red Dominion, played by 23 Down. Looks like he's moving up into an aggressive expansion towards the top. See how that works out for him. No shipyard yet, though. Lots of mining, no shipyard, and looks like lots of Tritanium mining, so maybe some support ships, I don't know. Next player is the White Dominion, played by Dragonfire. We see that he is pure tech, and he's got some bugs popping out there while he does his technology lab, so expect to see maybe some B5s, T15s, ships like that coming out pretty soon. And the final player on the bottom team is Dur. Dur sporting the orange Klingons, spitting out some cabbage and a large yard already. And doing that as Takraja. Interesting. So that was a little expensive for him, but was able to get it out. And Charg coming out. Wow, that's kind of neat. Let's see, we'll check up with the Romulans. Just now getting a star yard up.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, and that is Arash, who is sneaking around in the background. Say hello, Arash.
Hello, and I knew that he was hello because he had sensor jammer in his research institute.
Awesome. So I got another way to figure out what your opponent is rather quickly. So Arash was giving me a hard time in the last game because I really botched trying to explain what all of the Borg modules are. So Arash is going to be here to make sure that I know exactly what I'm talking about. A little harassment by Shooty. He did get a couple of pot shots on a poor little cabbage that was trying to cloak. No real harm done there. The great thing about Destiny Board is it forces you to have to decide where you want to expand. There are just enough expansions on the outside for one for each player. And that means that one person has to have an aggressive expansion. It looks like from between the two teams here we have 23 Down, who decided to expand up towards his enemy. Did a basic mining set, which is interesting. I'm used to seeing a yard up for Dominion when they expand fast like that. He does not have he just has one yard right now, just built at the very bottom of that expansion, putting out bombers. Already has supply mining started up, so it was sitting good economy-wise, but I'm not sure he's going to have enough ships. We'll see what he's able to put together. Luckily, he is facing a Federation player, and Federation does take a little bit longer to get started on ship production. We only have one Intrepid out. But Starfleet Command is going up, so should have a whole mess of ships out pretty soon. For the top team, Shude was the one that decided to just go aggressive and take on the mining expansions closest to his enemy. Not a bad deal with the Borg. You don't really have a lot of turrets you can build unless you invest in some dodes, but your miners are so strong, I don't think he's going to have anything to worry about. And he's going a pretty basic skew probe start, so he's going to have some early harassment ships that should be able to defend if he needs to. Yeah, little Romulan expansion about to be under attack at the top. One Charg and one Kabedge. Charg's an interesting raiding ship. It has a torpedo that does all of its damage. Fairly big delay, but does a lot of damage when it hits. So when going after miners, you're really at the mercy of how fast or how often does that torpedo hit. And everybody's really starting up their expansions, getting them moving. Do see large yard for the Dominion. They are putting out B5s, so it should work out fairly well for him. It's a pretty hard thing to counter, it really is. Well, no real aggression so far. Pretty calm game. Technology lab going up for the Red Dominion. 23 downs, probably saying, hey, you get B5s, I think I'll get some myself. I'm not sure what you do against double B5, but I'm sure we'll find out. Wow, beam scube up for Shude. 2 beam scubes. Interesting.
And he has a EMSU building right now.
And Rash, tell us how you could tell that was an EM scube being built.
Because the time it does to build an EMS cube is longer than a normal cube. So right now he's at 4 seconds, but a normal cube should only take about 30 seconds to build.
Awesome. And while that's being built up there, we have a little battle going on in the bottom left. A couple of Laval and some Intrepids picking on some poor defenseless Dominion mining. Bomber really is a great counter to those ships. Unfortunately, there's only one sitting out there. So, not really going to put out enough damage, I think, to make these guys go away. Large yard is being built at the bottom of that expansion. Warp in, too. This is going to be painful. That bomber not going to be able to fire when it retreats, and pretty weak. Oh boy, I think he's gone, and I think this next one that just came out is going to be gone too. Not a bad draw, really, for a warp in. But we do have a B5 coming to the rescue, along with a couple of bugs. Bugs are going to be countered pretty hard by the Intrepids and Laval, and even the E1, but that B5 ought to make up for it pretty good. Got allied repair going up, and curious to see what's going to come up in this big yard. Right now it looks like 23 down doesn't have enough resources to build anything, but he does have a C-17. Interesting. He does have a lot of titanium, so it may not be a bad deal. Lots of Lavals coming in at the top. Durr's doing a little bit of raiding here. Taking out that Romulan expansion, while we see that Shude is coming down with a whole mess of Borg ships. Got some scubes and probes. Looks like they may be coming up to try to take on that Klingon fleet there. Yeah. Starting to see Sang come out from Durr and researching combat tractor beam. Combat tractor beam is just great to try to keep those fleeing Borg ships from getting away. It also stops some dancing that spheres can do and dodes.
The Borg are trying to build a sphere, I believe.
Think so? Think they're holding up, trying to get one?
Well, they're researching not level 2, connective connections level 2, so, and they're already at 25 cc's.
Yeah, and a couple more miners coming out, so great economy. Definitely would be able to fuel that sphere pretty easily. Checking down on that fleet, now it's up to 4 scubes, 3 probes. That's a pretty big fleet. I'm guessing he's going to go in and just tear apart this Klingon expansion in the bottom. And to be honest, there's not much that can be done about that at the moment. Dur's Klingon fleet heading up the top. It looks like he's just kind of nosing around. Probably wants to hop onto a sphere that's getting built and just take it apart. Yeah, everybody else seems to be doing okay. No Laval production in the Romulan base. Not sure what's going on there. Still see some a lone bomber down at the bottom, and really that's just too bad. Poor bomber's just not going to be able to get into repair, and nothing really being.
The Romulans are about to go into generics. I don't know which type though. They haven't finished their tall shiar yet.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry if I interrupted you.
Oh, no problem. Look at wow, nice big combined fleet, Romulan Federation at the bottom, and they managed to burn down a B5. It's a pretty big loss for the bottom team. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been the prototype. I don't think it'll matter too much, but we do see that C-17 finally being produced in an S2 prototype. S2s, I'm not sure that those are going to do a lot of damage to these short-range ships that the Romulan and the Federation are really sporting. And Dur's doing some raiding at the top, picking on Shide's mining. Borg are going to come in, and I think they're going to be able to stop this perimeter that's being built by Dragonfire. He's got a perimeter down in his expansion that he's trying to work on. I think it's going to get stopped by this nice little Borg raiding fleet. His attention is definitely elsewhere, trying to pick on some walls. The ball did get away. And we see that Borg were able to make that perimeter get canceled, and they're going to clean up this little expansion here. Klingons still running around trying to find things to kill. So a lot of expansion raiding going on.